Hi, challenge buddies. Welcome to week 7 of our Halloween drawing challenge. Can you believe that we only have 2 weeks? We only have 2 weeks to go. I cannot believe this. I know I keep saying the things about weeks, but now it's like it's only 2 more weeks and then it's over. I'm debating whether to go live on Halloween. Uh, but I know that a lot of you are probably going to be trick or treating out there. So um, just let me know in the chat whenever you tune in. Hi, Susan. If you think it's a good idea to go on, come on a live stream for Halloween to wrap up the challenge. If it's not a good idea, I should probably do a poll. I should do a poll like in the beginning when we were talking about when I should do the live workshops. Um, that's great. Hi, Susan's family. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to. We had a bit of a tech issue. That's why I'm a couple minutes late. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see. 1 second. Okay, here we are. So let's see. Okay, did the countdown music not play? Let me see. All right, so this week we're going to be talking about how to make our illustration look a bit more analog. I know that a lot of us love starting on paper, and that's why I was thinking, because I got used to my style is a little bit more. Let me bring this. I'm gonna bring myself back. My style is a bit more cartoonish. Sometimes when I work digitally, and I know that a lot of us are like starting with paper, like on paper or with, say, watercolor, whatever it is. So I was trying to see like what we can do so that our illustrations look that way, but digitally. Let's see what happens. We're gonna experiment a little bit. So I left a couple of goodies today in the challenge hub. One of them was this template that, if you don't know, I'm hoping that by the thumbnail you know where we're gonna end up with this. But I just wanted to give you like a little bit of guidance with this. I think my main idea is to, let's see, I would originally start with a picture of my sketch. So I would create my sketch on paper, then I would upload it to my iPad, and then I would start tracing over it. This is exactly what I did. I'm going to show you in a little bit exactly how it happened before. So now, because I don't want to give you like the full sketch, it wouldn't be fun. We're going to do this like what I want to do today. This illustration it's for the prompt somewhere under the mushroom. So let me see. I have to take a look. Here we are. I'm going to quickly do a sketch with my favorite brush, and then I'm going to show you how I think we can make it look a bit more analog. So you have the templates. You also have the brush set that's called Mushroom Universe with a few things that we can add to the illustration. And you have a color palette. uh, color palette number 6 called Mushroom. Very creative. So, okay, I'm gonna get to the chat in a minute. I'm gonna quickly, let me see here. I have to get my brush under inking, dry ink. And with black, as usual, we are going to go to these layers with a template and reduce the opacity. Okay. And create a new layer on top. And now we're going to start with a sketching. All right. So let's start. Let's give our hand a little bit of a... Today, I don't think I drew anything, so it may be... let's see how it goes. So as you know, like, it's kind of like when you're not talking for a while, that you start talking and then it sounds weird. This part, I'm going to try to stay as close as possible to the template. I'm catching my breath because I was a bit... I was running all over the place trying to fix my tech issues. So now I'm like coming down to earth. All right. So we're gonna create our mushroom. And then over here, I just have like a little rock and my ghost. For me, it's a ghost. For you, it can be anything. By the way, if I forget, because, you know, I'm not great with my memory during the live streams, can someone yell in the chat giveaway around, say, 8:50? Like, in huge letters, just yell giveaway so I can talk about the winners of this week's prize, or actually like those 2 games that I left in the community space. All right, for this one, I'm gonna just do it like that. I'm going to get rid of my templates. And now I'm going to quickly sketch out what I wanted to do. So for instance, my mushroom can be kind of like that. The top part. Then I added a few steps here. I'm sorry if you can't see me. Doesn't matter. We're paying attention to the iPad. I added a few steps because this mushroom also has... I'm gonna make the brush a little bit like thinner. These are like super... They're not very... They were put there in a not very neat way. So, okay. This mushroom has like a few lights up there. So every now and then, whoever lives there needs to climb. So we're going to add the lights. By the way, like the reason why I'm doing this super fast is because we are going to see which parts we keep and which parts we get rid of after. I'm going to add a few lines. The other day I was telling this story, and I want to finish it up because I left a comment in the previous live stream that I said the first person that told me about the fact that you don't have to know how to draw to be a designer was, and I never said who the person was. So I wanted to finish that thought. That person was a university professor. It was a typography professor. So he made me realize, because I had originally gone to school for graphic design because I really liked drawing. But he told me, I don't know how to draw, and I'm a graphic designer. And that blew my mind. And what I was trying to say the other day with all the things that I showed you was that uh, you don't have to create illustrations, because in Spanish, illustration and drawing is not exactly the same. Illustration is a bit more design related. Maybe for like everyone it is, but for professionals, illustration means uh, something a bit more like editorial illustration, any type, like for storybooks, whatever it is. But there needs to be a message behind it. It's not just something that looks cute, or something that looks cool or whatever. All right. So that's what I was trying to show you the other day with my project. That was like, I think Gina had said it with the right terms. It was a project for to play with negative space and composition. And that was key for a lot of people that didn't know how to draw, because they thought, oh, I can make illustrations with this, I can create a book with this. And they didn't need to they just had to put shapes together. They didn't have to draw. I think that where I'm going with this is kind of like the same style, the same meaning. Anyway, this mushroom has a little hole where this ghost is gonna be coming through. And when I'm done with this sketch, I also want to show you how to make a stamp brush. For this part, we can actually use one of our brushes. Speaking of stamp brushes, it's up here. And we're gonna be using, maybe it is a pumpkin pie, maybe it's something else. Let's see, we're gonna go back. Oh yeah, I didn't give you the outlines for this one. Well, doesn't matter. Let's say that, it's holding the pie, and then we're gonna give it a couple of eyes, like, hey, stop playing whatever you're playing out there. Dinner is ready. All right, that's a bit of a I love when I don't add sparkles to their eyes, they look a bit psychotic. By the way, speaking of family, when I announce the winners, I'm just gonna let you know as a warning that I'm gonna be showing a couple of images that are a bit scary. So just in case. I'm putting it out there. It's not, it's those old movies, but still. Okay. So now let's draw this guy over here. We have, this is what I was saying in my email. I started listening to this song from Robin Hood. Actually, like, it's a whole playlist by, oh my god, I think her name is Alison Young. It's not a playlist. I have the playlist. Anyway, It's really, I love those songs so much, and they inspired me to create something less creepy and a bit more wholesome. It's still creepy though, because this, I don't know if you noticed, but this ghost is it's either a frog dressed as a ghost, or it's a frog that's not here anymore and became a ghost but kept its hands. I thought that it was a good opportunity. You will see what I mean in a little bit. It was a good opportunity to use old illustrations of mine. Okay, let's see how we do this. So, oh, we also have actually the hat for this one. So we're gonna put. Okay, that's too big. we're gonna we're gonna have to make it like this, and I want it to be a bit to the side like that. All right, and we're gonna get rid of that. Okay, we also have a few. I'm just gonna take care of him. Let's do the eyes. He's looking to the side because he heard the dinner is ready. So let's see. I think um, I don't know if you could hear him. I think my son also thinks that dinner is ready. I think this mic is pretty good at not picking up anything that's happening behind the scenes. But okay, and so I made him. I made these like hands for him that look like frog hands. I think that when we start creating illustrations on our iPad, that doesn't look good. You see, because this is exactly what I'm trying to do here. I don't want to think of it as a final thing. We have that going for us, that we can actually erase. And I think this is the problem, right? Like it's a vicious cycle. You know that you can go back, you can undo, you can erase. So you're like, I don't know how to do this. When you're sketching by hand, you kind of like go over it a few times. It's a different story anyway. um, it would make a lot more sense to teach how to do this first on paper, but okay, I think that's good enough of a hand. And then we're gonna add a bit of an arm, and he has actually we're going to do alpha lock, activate alpha lock for that layer with the medieval guitar, whatever it's called. And let me see which color I use for this one. Okay, it's just the brown right here. So I can get an idea, and I can actually see what I'm doing. So we're gonna create a new layer on top of the guitar, and with black, we're going to add the arm. And again, to make it simple, I'm gonna add like a bit of a hand there. I'm just gonna try to remind myself that I'm on paper. It's tough. This is like the tough part. All right. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And then we have a bunch of pumpkins and the mushrooms from actually probably one of the first brush sets that I gave you uh, from fall. Fall, the brush set. Okay. So for the mushrooms, we're going to use probably this one. Create a new layer. Actually, I think it has to be, you see, it has to be a little bit darker so that you can see it on screen. I'm just going to make it like that. And then what I'm going to do now that I have most of the brushes that are left, we're going to just create the shapes, the brush stamps. Because what we're going to do after that is go with a thinner brush, the black one, and add a few highlights all around. So I think when you're doing it at home, if you have your own sketch, what you can do is have your sketch as the background, as I did when I created this. On top, paint with a color and with actually play with a blending mode. So for instance, this one with multiply. Paint your shapes, like for example, if I were to do this is my sketch, right? And I'm on a new layer. And I make it multiply. Okay. You would just like paint the shape. Very like, as if you were using watercolor, say. I would then, after making this, on top with white, I would just go over some of the lines. So for example, the same way that you would probably do it with fine liners or whatever they're called, like those markers. And so you end up having like, obviously we're going to play around with this, but you end up having a sort of less perfect look that allows you to play with your shapes and make it look, I think, a bit less like, structured. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, I wanted to show you quickly so that it would make a little bit of sense. Let's go back to our original sketch here. So we're going to add all the brush stamps. Let me see. There's this one. We're going to make it orange. And we're going to put it over here. This has to be a bit smaller because it's supposed to be farther away. The mushrooms are going to be kind of like closer and partially covering that. Then this pumpkin bunch is going to be over here. Okay, that's huge. It's going to be over here. We're gonna activate the alpha lock there and make one of them this color. It will be a bit more visible in a second when we do the black, when we go over them with the black outlines. Then we have this pumpkin number 2 that we can make this color. It has to be in a new layer. All it's this weekend. I'm going to go to a fall festival or some pumpkin patch event. So I'm excited. Um, I'm probably going to get more inspired there. It's not going to be one of those that we've been sharing in the community space. It's a day, a thing that's going to happen during the day. Okay, let's grab pumpkin 1 and make it this one over here. And what else do we have? We have another one of the like pumpkin 2, a little one over here. It's in the same layer, but we can make it in a new layer over there. And I think that's it. Oh, no. We have these guys that we can put. Let me see. They can be behind him. So for this, I'm just going to erase it. And that, I believe they're going to be that same orange. Yeah, why not? Okay, and this won't matter right now because we don't have the shape for the ghost, but I'm gonna put it behind him in a layer, kind of like under. Okay. Okay, I think more or less we have what we need. So before we continue, I want to show you how to make a brush stamp. This is going to be very easy. And then the process behind this. So let me see. I'm going to create a new canvas. It's 3000 by 3000 pixels. And we can make it whatever we want. Maybe a pumpkin. Maybe actually this one that I don't have. I don't think I put in the brush set. This is like a really easy weed, I guess. Like a little plant or something that's over there in the background, near the mushroom that we're gonna make. So this has to be like big. If you have, say you have created another illustration and it's small like that, what I do is I fit to canvas right here after getting the transform tool, fit to canvas. And we know that Procreate makes everything blurry. So this is for like very simple shapes. You would have to go over it. So for this one, it would be very easy to just go over. And then you can make it either outlines or you can fill it in. So in general, I give you like a brush that's filled in. I'm going to do this so that we can remove any textures between the edges and the inner part. And very important, this has to be black, as in full black. It has to be all the way over there. Because if it's gray, it doesn't matter which color, but if it's gray, like if it's this, then what's going to happen is when you create the stamp, it's going to look like see-through. You probably want it to be solid. So we're going to go all the way there and make this one black. After this, we are going to save it. So it's a JPEG. I'm going to save it. And then, let me see. If you do this, if you go to your brush library and you pull this down, you're going to get that plus sign, and you can create now your own brush set. So, for example, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought I'll do it in like right after. Wait. I need to show this. All right, I'll do it right after this. Thank you, Susan. um, so for your own brush set, you can. We're gonna call it. Let's call it giveaway, so that we can stay. Okay, so we create our brush set, and now here we can create many brushes, but we're gonna create one. So we go to our brush studio. We make sure the first thing that we have to do is that this spacing is all the way up to the max. That's how we can create a brush stamp. Then the next thing, we're not gonna bother with the others. We have to go to shape and import our brush. Now, for the sake of my family's privacy, I'm going to make myself big for a moment so that I can access my gallery, import what I just exported. So you would have like import a photo, a file, whatever. I'm gonna hit this, get the brush that we just made, and then I'll bring the iPad back. Okay. Let's see now. There we go. Magic. Okay. So we have this, right? We have to tap with 2 fingers like that so that it goes into the negative, basically. And then it's done. Now, the final 2 things that we have to do is we have to go to Apple Pencil and reduce the opacity of the pressure all the way. Then we have to go to properties. You can obviously watch this again. Don't worry if you can't like follow exactly live. I just wanted to be here so that we can then have it. I always use the stamp preview for my brushes. I like making them big. So let's say we make them like 600% or something. And then you're going to have to also reduce the preview size because otherwise it's going to be huge. So that's, I put it at 20%. You can always fix this later too. And then the final thing is give it a name. So made by you. And title them. So in this case, I'm just going to call it plants. Okay, done. That's it. As you can see, like the preview is a bit, it goes over, so we can always adjust it and make it smaller like that. And there you have your brush. You can do this as many times as you want. I like having brush stamps. At some point, I would love to play with brushes, like texture brushes. But for this one, I think it's, we're going to show you in a new layer. For example, I'm going to choose this color, and there we have it, our brush. You see, like it doesn't, it was black all the way because it doesn't, it's opaque, like solid. Anyway, sometimes like brush stamps also help you like work for with patterns, so it's something to consider. Okay, we did the brush stamp. We have to do the giveaway. It's actually, I put it into the giveaway category, but it's actually like, I mean, you won. A lot of you guessed. So let me add this to stage. It's not this one. Hang on. Okay, here. So we had two guessing games. This was one of them. A lot of you guessed it. I'm going to show you now which movies actually inspired me to create this. And I think all of you won. So just so you know, what you won is a special workshop that I'm going to be doing in November slash December. So that's all that I'm going to say about that. I'm going to make the special announcement next week. But just so you know, you have that. And if you won in both of them, you can just choose. You're going to have more than one workshop to choose from. That's it. I'm not going to say anything else. So the first thing that inspired me was it. This is the image that I was talking about. This one stuck with me for years and years and nightmares for a long time because I don't know if I had actually watched the movie because I was too small, too young to watch it. But when we used to go to these movie renting places. Some people maybe are going to be like, what are you talking about? Yes, I actually had the book. I never read the whole thing because it was too long. But I think the book was at parts even creepier. And I know that the movie now, if I watch it now, it's like, what is this? But back then, it was scary for me. And this It is the one that scares me, not the new one. Anyway, that's one. Then we have, I don't know if you can, oops, no, I don't want to go ahead there. Spoilers. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. This guy, actually, I don't think I watched this movie because I don't think it was allowed for kids. But again, I would see the poster in the movie renting clubs. What are they called? Blockbuster. Anyway, nice. And anyway, so this guy also haunted my nightmares. And I think that now as an adult, I think the movie was terrible, like really bad, not scary, but the concept was great. You like, what? You couldn't go to sleep? You should not go to sleep because otherwise this guy's going to get you. That's awesome. I mean, I love the concept. I don't think the movie was I think at some point I caught like maybe, a few scenes. I never watched the whole movie. And then another thing that inspired me was this guy. Let's see in the chat if you remember who this guy is. Because again, a clown, right? I mean, I was always afraid of clowns, and this one was pretty creepy. I don't think anyone got this movie in the community space. But let's see. I'm gonna give you like a few seconds because I know I'm behind. And I really I really need to catch up with the chat. Okay. Well, I don't want to give it up. I want to see if anyone knows. Does anyone know who this clown is from? I remember watching this scene, and again, I don't think I watched the whole movie. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. It was a very long time ago. Is that a movie? Stumped? This one, okay, I'm gonna give it up. because maybe some people even stopped. Yes, yes. Thank you. Maybe some people even stopped watching because I said that I would show scary images. So thank you, Gina, for sticking with me. Um, it is Poltergeist. Um, oh, okay. So I thought that Stumped maybe was a movie. It is Poltergeist. So when I watched this scene, I don't know if you remember it, like this little kid was sleeping and then this clown was like hiding under the bed. Oh my god, I don't want to say too much. I'm afraid if someone is watching, I don't want them to get scared. But basically, that stuck with me forever. So that was also, and as you can see, the sleeves, and the legs, kind of like inspired me, as well as Freddy Krueger. And here it is. I think it was okay too. Here is this silly reference. I think Poltergeist was okay. It wasn't as bad as the other ones we were talking about. But I should watch it again because I don't remember it. Now we're back to silly stuff. So nothing scary anymore. If you stopped watching or if you're just listening, you can come back. Uh, this one, if you ever watched Friends, you must know. There it is, Susan. Um, this like I forget her name. Was it Gladys? I think it was Gladys. Um, Phoebe had made this art piece, and everyone was like trying to be nice, I think, but they were very scared by it. And I thought that this guy kind of looked like that because he was sort of coming out of the of the frame. So anyway, that's the silly reference. No one no one got in the community space, but that's fine because you got almost all the other movies. Do I have? Hang on. Oh, here we have the other one for Potion Distillery. I don't think there were any movies that inspired me to create it, but you did get the snake. You did get I don't the snake in the plants. So I don't know if you can see my mouse. I'm not sure. It's like all the way to the right. And this one, I love asking you about these guessing games because I had no idea about some things that you saw. This is very similar to what I was talking about with the light reflection or projection, because it's like you see stuff that I did not see or did not intend to make. So that was awesome. Like little hearts. I have no idea where I made little hearts, but that's really cool that you saw those. So for this one, I have the snake, and I also had this. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to make it big. Am I? No. Anyway, this like you see where the mouse is, the little ghost. I called it ghostly minion to the right. Um, has like fangs, and it's wearing this like cat whatever on its head. And I thought that it was like a cool sort of like I thought that it was a cool reference to both Roxy's vamp cats or vamp characters and Suzanne's oh my god, I'm excuse me today, I'm not doing well. I know it's Suzanne, and I was thinking of her, and then I mixed her up. I'm so sorry. Suzanne's um, ghost cat, or like cat dressed as a ghost. Anyway, that was what I was trying to say. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're done with the winners. You know who you are. Everyone in the community space, basically, that participated won. And so I think that was it. Yes. we're done with the giveaway. I'm going to do the announcement properly next week. So remember that. And we're going to go back to our illustration. Okay. So here, let me show you actually how this happened. This time I can show you the replay, the video replay. That's like old. Let's see. So I had let's see if you can see here. I had this thumbnail for the mushroom, or somewhere under the mushroom prompt. And so what I did was I got a few older illustrations and I mixed them all up, as you can see here. Let's see if this is even like noticeable. You see, let me go back. I had like, you know, this like waiter frog, and another frog by a stone, whatever. Anyway, so I played around with them a lot, and I ended up creating the illustration that we're learning today. So at first it was going to be a frog that was just laying there or sitting back. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just add my character. Why not? Oh, and originally, actually, this was supposed to be a mouse, but I made it into a ghost. Let's see how it ends. No, I'm not going to show you how it ends because we have to do that live. Okay, maybe a little bit. Okay, you see, like, I started playing with colors. I made the quick sketches a little bit smaller, and then I started playing with colors. This is something that I teach on one of my Skillshare classes. And then I very quickly added color. Let's see if I can show you closer. And then that was it. I played around a bit, but I decided, I'm going to go with this color palette. And it was like way easier than having to add color to each thing, and make each shape without outlines, as I generally do. So let's try to achieve that today. So we have our illustration. I'm going to start adding color on the very top. I think this layer is empty. 1 second. Yes. And I'm going to make this layer multiply. And I'm going to just with... Did I do this with dry ink? Or I think you can experiment with drawing. In the drawing category, there are many brushes. So I'm going to make it very big. And I'm just going to pretend that I'm painting this, as I said before. And here, the cool part about this specific brush is that if you do many strokes, it kind of like, it kind of seems like it is watercolor. Actually, I'm also going to use it for the eraser so that we can play around. And I think that you are going to have to you can do this like a few times until it becomes a bit more natural, but it's probably the closest thing that I ever got to do. Let's see. That looks, a bit more analog. So I'm going to quickly paint over here. The cool part about this is that I'm going for happy accidents, like how things that happen when you're working with analog stuff. For example, like the other day I was painting this. I think I made with my favorite brush, dry ink. um I was doing this, right? Maybe it was with orange. I was going like that, not trying to not stay properly within the lines, just uh, quickly doing this. And then I sent the illustration to my dad, and he was like, "You can add, spiders over there," because I think in his head, again, another thing that happened when I showed someone else art or an image, he saw spiders. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. So I grabbed this part of my illustration. It was like this. You see, like, I took a little bit longer to make the little circles differently. But I did that and I was like, where can I see a spider? And then on a layer, in a layer on top, I drew these. This one was my favorite one. I just took advantage of those shapes and I added the legs. So instead of, this is kind of like going with what I was telling you before about drawing. Instead of saying, I'm going to draw a spider and then I'm going to create a circle and then I'm going to add legs, I grabbed a shape that I had and then I added something to make it into a spider. For this one specifically, I actually looked at real images of spiders to see where the legs would go, to get an idea, because otherwise I was going to end up doing something like this. And I wasn't happy with that. So I was like, okay, let's look a million images of spiders and then see what comes up. Anyway, going back to our illustration. Okay, so let's quickly go over these and go over our steps. You see, like, now I'm trying to rush and it's helping me because I'm not covering the whole thing. Let's do the hat. Another thing that I did was, because I am with multiply, yes. You're gonna think, well, what happens with white? Because it's not gonna show up if you have this. I'm using multiply because I like the layering process of what is supposed to be analog. So what I did for this one was I erased my, you're going to see that you have in your template painted background, and it's going to be a very light pink. So I just erased that one with one of these texture brushes. This one is a drawing one. I like it. What is it? Oberon or Oberon? I don't know how to pronounce it. And there we go. It's not super noticeable, I think, on screen, but you see, like, it gives you the idea of a texture. It's really cool. Okay, so we have our ghost. We're gonna have to also erase this one over here. And let's do what I was telling you about with all the brushes, all the stamps that we applied. So with dry ink and black, and we're going to create a new layer on top, and we're going to add detail. Let's start with this one here. You see, like, I just made that line, and I stopped there by chance. I'm going to leave it there. Then I'm going to add another line over here. I'm not trying to go exactly over the shapes, the shape. I'm just every here and there. I'm gonna add some lines, and this like sort of like offset, you know, style, I guess, helps because it's not perfect. Okay, for this one, actually, for the little words or whatever they're called, I'm gonna, with this color, I'm going to add. And if you don't like the layering thing, like what's happening here, you know, with the mushrooms, we can just erase that part. Hang on, where is this? Here. We can just erase that part. Another thing that I did was I went back to the painted background, and I also erased a few things around it so that it would look like some parts were also missing. It's harder to see again because it's like it's a light background. In any case, I think that with your own sketches, you're going to have an easier time creating this without it looking so backwards, or like it would take like such a long time. So for this, we're going to actually erase this part because it's on the mushroom. And we're going to bring the mushrooms all the way up. Let me see here. Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't really catch up with my chat. But I'm gonna try to do this fast. Let's see. This one is this color. Actually, all right, because it's multiply. Let me bring it back to normal here. For that one, it can just be normal because it's not really playing too much with the background. It's the same colors. So why make it harder? Okay. There we go. And we can keep the outlines. As I said, I don't use outlines in general, but sometimes, like, for this sort of illustration, it's going to add a lot. I'm going to quickly do these shapes over here. Okay. And also, let's go over the pumpkins very, very fast. You know what? I forgot to do something. Hang on. I want to see if it works. I was going to do this for the giveaway, and and then my head forgot. But let's see. I have my glowing potion for Potion Distillery. I didn't want to finish this illustration without saying that. I wanted to see if it actually worked. Anyway, let's do it again. I'm sorry. It's getting closer to Halloween and I'm getting quirkier. um that does not have any alcohol in it. It's just as you know, some of you know the trick behind that. That's just tonic water. All right. Let's go over these very fast. For the way that I do, and for let's see, for bigger illustrations, this is a bit tougher and it's gonna take a bit longer. But for smaller ones, what I do with when I shade things so that they are they look like they have some highlights, and we're gonna see a lot of this. You all that attend live are gonna have a lot of opportunities to see this because of the workshops that you won. But what I think of in general is, where is the light coming from? So if I say this is my light source, and then I would probably put it here. That's my sun. And so I add a highlight over here. I add one over here, one over here, one on top. You see, like for the this illustration, oops, let's not lose our second camera. This illustration is a perfect example of that. This was for Gored by Fears. I have my candle and I have the highlights on his face over here. So I made his face purple. I have the highlights here. I have the highlights on the pumpkin. And then I played around with a few lines to kind of like show that, you know, it helped me with the overall color palette, but also with the idea that there were things shining. And here is where I used my little spider from the Happy Accident. So there we go. Okay. Let's finish this up. Again, not, I can do this very fast and so can anyone. I'm not, you see, because I am following a shape, then it's easy. I think that in general, what one thinks is, well, I'll make the shape first, and then I'm going to add the color. But sometimes adding the color of the full shape and then adding the outlines is a better strategy. Let's see. We are also missing the color of this mushroom, like the stem. I don't know, the trunk. I always put myself in this situation. Let's see. We want to do it behind. So maybe here. And then we're going to like erase these parts again, which will give us another opportunity to go over accidentally and make it look a bit more analog. All right. What happened with his hat? Because I don't like that color, but I think it's because it's in multiply. So let me erase. Yeah, I'm going to erase the background again that I was talking about. And again, this is going to give us another opportunity to make it look like it's offset. And we want this little part. I'm going to go back to the hat. I'm going to turn into alpha lock. And this part, I want it to be a different color. What are we missing? We're missing the ground. We are missing the ground. With this same, whatever texture brush, but with that same one, I'm going to go actually to the painted background. I'm going to create a layer on top, and with pink, I'm going to do this. That's not the one that I use. 1 second. Let's go back to drawing. Is it? I don't think it's dry ink. Is it marker? Maybe it's marker. Let's use marker. Why not? No, it's not that one because it doesn't give me the cool text. Oh, I think it. Okay, I know what it is. It's dry ink, but it's a bit on the side. And so it gives you like, I'm going to show you from up close. It gives you that sort of pencil texture. I think that's what I did. We can make it a bit bigger. At least for the edges, like the inner parts don't have to have that texture. All right. And we're just missing a few outlines here and there. So what happened to the mushroom? Oh, right. Okay. This mushroom is not some multiply. Yeah. I'm going to bring it back to multiply and go back to my painted background and just erase. No, the new background and erase these parts. Because I want the little stems to be a bit lighter. All right. Finally, I'm going to add some color to this mushroom, the big one, the house mushroom. This is already in alpha lock, so that's why it's not going anywhere else. And let's just create the outlines for some of these, and then we'll be done. I'm going to keep erasing whatever shouldn't be in the way. Yeah, this one from my sketch needs to be gone there. Okay. Let's do the outlines. So in this first layer, or a new layer that I created on the very top, I'm just, okay, with a very thin brush, I'm going to go over these. This part is like, to me, this is the most fun part because I don't have to be thinking about what I need to do. I just need to go over the outlines. And because it's fast, then it doesn't matter. I am hoping to get happy accidents. So I don't need to think too much. I think that's the problem. When you're creating a digital illustration, maybe you're thinking too much. And that's why you don't allow certain things to look the way that they would if you were working analog. We're going to add a few lines here and there. Maybe some little grass. Wherever you think there's room. And also, honestly, you can still play around with the colors a bit. Maybe some of these things have 2 colors instead of just one. Let me see. Sorry for like all the the flashes of layers. You know, here and there. I also like for the, I think it was for his hands, I did the following. I went over the outlines. This would actually go behind there. And then I erased. You can go again, well, you can have outlines on top, because the point of all of this is that you would already have the sketch made. So you're trying to go over the sketch. And let me see. And for the, I had also added a bit of orange with this idea of the highlights that I was talking about. Okay, and what else needs? I think this pumpkin over here needs. Oh, and the pie. Okay, the pie and this guy and the guitar. That's it. All right. Let me see. We're going to go all the way to the top. I want to highlight sorry, a couple of comments. I wanted to say this. Speaking of comments, in the comments, whoever is watching the replay can let us know if they need the fast track for the prompts from, what was it, 17 through 22, something like that, for the prompts for week 3. Because you don't have to need it, but if you do need it, let me know in the comments. Leave a comment whenever you're watching this, and so that I can make it available. Well, whenever wouldn't work. If you watch it before next Monday or something, I could potentially make it available. I just didn't want to, like, I didn't. I know that a lot of you are working with your own characters, so maybe some of those fast track things. Where are we running? Like, it's not. I didn't want to give the idea that we had to run anywhere. So, but if you did like them and you did use them at some point, not talking about the frames and the labels and all of that, just the templates for the fast track. Okay, I think the stone also needs a bit of color. Let me see. So that it looks like there's something here. He has to be sitting on something. I know that he's a ghost and he can float, but come on. um, okay. Let's see how it looks if we do multiply. Yeah, all right. Uh, I'm just gonna erase a few things from here. There we go. Some of the lines are looking too thick for me, so I would just work on them. I would make them thinner. Again, like the fine liners we were talking about. And this one also has a few lights. And as I said before, I would just erase the background. I'm not sure what's happening to my Apple Pencil cover today. Okay. Is that it? Oh, we had the brush that we just created to add over here. I think that was a good spot. But of course, it's going to have to be like behind all of this. Or again, we just erase it because we've been playing with blending modes. Let's see. I want it behind the mushroom. And oh, and the pie. I just saw the pie because I came over here to add this. Let's add the outlines. All right. And the pie is going to be super simple. We're going to turn this into alpha lock, make it orange, and then make a new layer over there and paint. That was supposed to be a pumpkin pie, but I don't know what it is anymore. It's something. So I think we have our illustration. As usual, I had added a few lines on the very top to, play around with the idea that it's a bit magical. And these are also like the things that I add as part of my style. These things that at some point, I think we all have them. You accidentally did them or you came up with them and then you started adding them everywhere. It shouldn't be like, like it should be subtle. It shouldn't be all over the place, but there are some little things that you're gonna find when you're trying to make more and more illustrations that are gonna just come and be part of your toolbox, and then you're gonna add them to everything that you create. Maybe sometimes they're gonna be in more a higher quantity. Other times they'll be just like a little bit, and so on. I want to talk about how all of our illustrations are going to look together by the end. And yes, exactly. Like Pearlie's whiskers. That's Susan's character. Yeah, so at some point I want to talk to you about the whole, like how it's going to look for us when we have 31 illustrations. A lot of you are doing great, by the way. Congratulations for making so much art. That's insane. I love it. I love seeing it every day. Even if it's not every day, every week, whatever it is, I love seeing it. So congratulations. And then, like for this one, some of us are experimenting a little bit more, and so it's not gonna work this way. But if you do have the same style, what you can do when you have the 31 illustrations is think of like how your color palette is applying as a whole. Like maybe it starts by being percentages of some colors more than others, and then there comes a part depending on the story where the percentages change, um, and so on. Like this is something that is a bit more advanced, but I would like to touch on it at some point. um, let's see. I want to erase a few things here and then we're going to be done. I promise. Is this the longest workshop yet? Maybe. Where is the thing that I'm looking for? I think it's this one. Yes. This is like the ground that I added. I want to erase a few parts so that these mushrooms look a bit better. Anyway, I think that by making this also like smaller, it ends up looking cuter because the point was to make it super fast. So what I did was over here. I think I already showed you I showed you the video. Here I added a little heart because I got inspired by your comments in the community space. Anyway, I hope you had fun. Congratulations for winning. Okay, I want to since we're done, I'm just going to go quickly through the chat and I want to add a few things to the when you get older and have to worry about kids. Exactly. Nothing is scary anymore. Also the movies have like, even though we have more it's weird because the technology who won? Everyone that participated in the community space won. So some of you have two prizes. And it's basically, I didn't say it fully, but what it's basically going to be is a special workshop. That's all I said. So all of you that participated in the community space won because you all guessed one thing or the other. So congratulations. You won, Susan. You're one of the winners. Anyway, American Werewolf. Yeah, in London. I actually thought that was scary. Some parts of it were scary, but mostly it was just funny. Yeah, okay. Well, this is why I also wanted to bring back a bit of again, this is like slightly creepy, but this illustration is a bit less scary. It's more like fall, like it only has the ghosts and the weird frog legs, frog arms. Sorry, I'm just going through the comments and I know that they were from earlier, but okay. I am going to go through all of them. I'm not going to make you like sit here for this. But as you know, I always catch up with the chat after this and in the community space. I hope you liked or you learned something from this workshop. And thank you so much for being here and for being being part of the challenge, and posting all of your entries. We're gonna keep having fun in the community space, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.